Hi, this is your graduate assistant. Let's take a few minutes today and talk about the selection of your research sample. You've got four major ways to sample or to pick your sample. You have simple random sampling, which is also called SRS, stratified random sampling, single stage cluster sampling, and systematic sampling. Simple random sampling is each subject has an equal chance of being selected. It's completely and totally random. Each possible sample has an equal chance of being selected. So the subjects have a random chance and the sample has a random chance. Your process always begins with a sampling frame, which is a list of every subject in the population. Stratified random sampling continued. You have the population size n. Uppercase n, remember, is the total population. Lowercase n is the sample. So the uppercase, or the population, can be divided into subpopulations called strata, according to a criteria related to the primary outcome variable. So a random sample size of little n, so you can see that's your sample at this point, is selected from strata j, for j equals 1, 2, 3, and those correspond to the different samples of your overall population. So a random sample of size n sub j is selected from strata j for j equals 1, 2, 3. So your overall sample size becomes n, lowercase n sub 1, lowercase n sub 2, n sub 3, and so on. Now, in your stratified random sampling, you have different allocations. You have balanced allocation, which means the equal number of you have equal number of subjects from each strata. You have proportional allocation, which is the subsample in the size is directly proportional to the population size. You have the Neiman allocation, which means the size in strata is directly proportional to the strata population size, and diversity. That's what's different. It's related to the strata level of diversity. You have optimum allocation, which is all of the above, but also includes the cost of obtaining data from each subject. That's something that you really have to keep in mind when you're doing research, is that it's not free. Single stage cluster sampling, this is one of the most common for teachers to engage in. The population exists in clusters, like a classroom. A random sample of clusters is selected, or random sample of classrooms, and every subject in the selected clusters will constitute the sample. Now there's a general assumption, clusters are homogeneous between, but heterogeneous within, meaning if you compare classes, they're very similar, but within the class there's a significant amount of diversity. Systematic sampling, a listing of the population is divided into n equal blocks of size k. Random subject is selected from the first block, and then every k subject thereafter is selected. Now think about this one as you have the phone book, and out of the phone book you choose every 9th person. So then you get a sample size, lowercase n right there, of every 9th person in the phone book. Now the general assumption is the listing must be in random order for systematic sampling to be less biased. So the phone book, while it's a decent way to go, isn't in random order. But if you could scramble up the phone book, it would be a perfect way for you to do systematic sampling.